Zoom zoom!
We are back, baby. So, gearbox time. This is the gearbox out of the cream cheese engine. You may remember the cream cheese engine. That's the one that we just spent some time torquing down the big end bolts and the conrods, all that good stuff. And we honed the cylinders, we set the valve clearances, all that good stuff, right? I'm calling it the cream cheese engine, right? It's the one that came out of the orange car from Queens. It's sitting over there in the dolly, you saw it recently. That's that gearbox. This gearbox is out the export model, and it's readily apparent here, if you can use your imagination a little bit, that this clutch pedal, which is on the left hand side of this gearbox, the shaft comes out here on the right hand side of this gearbox, right? So this is set up for left hand drive, so an American export model British Austin 7. It's not an American Austin, it's not a Bantam, it's an export model of an Austin 7, which is left hand drive, right? So I was fortunate picking up that chassis. I didn't even know when I was picking it up that that was the case. And we spent quite a bit of time on that engine, remember, trying to get it started. I reckon it was 80 hours. I got it to cough a few times. Remember the one that Linda pulled with the tractor and all that? We never managed to get it started. I haven't given up on that engine. I really want to spend some time on it, find out why it wouldn't start. I suspect valve clearances. But anyway, I read up about this, and to convert that over to left-hand drive means taking some bits to pieces here. I'll be truthful here that it actually doesn't look like that big a job here to shift you know, that from that side to that side. This engine, this gearbox, sorry, has this clutch plate. It's the Borg and Beck, actually says on it somewhere. I'll see, I don't know if you can read that or not. It says Borg and Beck on it. It's a clutch plate, right? Like a modern clutch, right? It's a later, post 1937, I believe, clutch setup, right? So the Ferodo, the friction surface, is on either side of the clutch plate. This is pretty worn, but according to everyone I've talked to, it really needs to be in a hell of a state before it would actually work. I think this would work okay. So I was all geared up to fit that until I figured, I actually looked up and said, this is a big job to switch this from left hand drive to right hand drive. I don't actually believe that. I'm going to spend a little bit of time investigating that. So that's one gearbox. The export model, that's the one that we towed up and down the driveway trying to get it started with the tractor trailer, with the tractor pulling it. I slammed it into gear a few times. It went into gear, that's all I can say. This is the one we spent, there's a video of us playing with this. Remember, I took it all apart, cleaned it all, got it all shifting up and down in the gears. This is a different setup. Look at the clutch plate, right? There's no Ferodo on that clutch plate. The reason being, in this engine, this pressure plate here has a Ferodo lining on it. Again, this one quite worn, although apparently there's some life left on it. And this, how does it go? It goes like that, right? This, can't remember exactly how it works, but I won't make it up because I'll probably make a mess of it. So that's the friction surface on here to grab, you know, the Ferodo, I call it. I don't know exactly what the modern equivalent would be, but Ferodo back in the day. And there's a friction surface on the flywheel. The engine we have, the flywheel does not have a friction surface on it, so it's obviously designed for a Borg and Beck clutch. It's designed for this kind of gearbox. That flywheel. One of the alternatives is, we know this gearbox is pretty good, right? We've got it all doing what it's supposed to do. Probably put that the wrong way, like that. I can't remember, but we figured it out the last time, right? We'll figure it out again. You know, that pushes in and out, and that's what, no, that doesn't push in and out. This pushes in and out, right, with the clutch pedal. The clutch pedal operates this, right? Remember we cleaned all that, we took it all apart. Cleaned it all, it's all working pretty well. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this gearbox is good, right? I've clicked it down through the gears and stuff like that. There's no oil in it, I have to remember that, I wrote that on it. Right, so, but that would require, if we're going to use it on that engine, the engine that's running, you know, that you saw me run, switch it. This one, right, that engine that's sitting right there on that chassis, right, if I brought you in there, I'm going to bring you in there right now, you'll see that flywheel has no, that flywheel right there has no friction surface on it. This is just bare metal, right? This is just bare metal. So that's the one that takes a Borg and Beck clutch, I believe, right? There's no facility to put friction surface on that, right? So I'd have to switch that flywheel, assuming the flywheels are identical, which I would have to look at. I would have to switch out that flywheel with the friction surface if I want to use that gearbox. You can see this is loose, right? So this flywheel is not even fitted properly, right? So I think with minimal fuss, we could probably switch those flywheels if the flywheels are identical apart from the friction surface, right? So that's option X. I can't remember what option we're talking about now. Right, so that would give us the option of using this earlier type of gearbox, which I'm pretty sure works pretty well. This one here on the right hand side, the export model, is an unknown quantity other than the fact that I banged it in and out of gear a few times. It's a later gearbox. The other alternative, which I'm going to get, alternative number 10, is I'm going to take that gearbox off of the engine that I just took out my car, right? So we just, you know, we talked about that. We took that engine out of my car, the one under the hoist here, right? The one under the hoist. Oh, jeepers. So many engines, it's getting confusing, isn't it? This one, right? This one in between the legs of the hoist. Right, this gearbox has the hole in the side of it. Remember I told you about the hole? There's the hole with the patch, and you can see where, you know, I was working blind, I missed a part of the hole. If that's all that's wrong with that gearbox, I ran it without oil, right? So my dad was saying on the phone today, don't use that gearbox again. But you know, it works. It's not great, but it works. What's to stop us taking that patch off and patching it properly? If that's the only damage, I don't know if that's the only damage, right? So that's another alternative. I need to take this gearbox off anyway because I want to have a look at it and see if it's a Borg and Beck clutch, blah 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 blah, right? I'm not sure exactly what flywheel and what clutch is in that. So we have three alternatives. We have to decide what we're going to do. I'm going to take this gearbox off first. I'm going to line that up with the other two, and then we're going to investigate. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is just investigate how impossible it is to switch this export model clutch pedal across to the other side. I'm just going to write on this export gearbox and Borg and Beck. I forgot actually to look while they were still on this bench, but I'm interested to see how different they look in the inside. Let's just bring that back over and we'll look at that for a second. This is one we cleaned up. Hope you can see both of these. Let's bring them closer, there's no need to be shy. Right, so this is the one we cleaned up, you can tell, right? And it works beautifully, I believe. You know, this comes in and out the way it's supposed to. Can't remember how we tested that before. So what's the difference here? Apart from the pedal being on the other side, right? The pedal's supposed to be on this side and this one. I did break off the little oiler thing, I remember doing that. The spring is in the same, no, the spring is behind here. Huh. I wonder if I did put this wrong way around here. Remember we talked about that before. It isn't quite. Can you see okay? Now let's get you right in here so you can see what I'm playing with here. Playing with that clutch pedal, right? It's supposed to come and push on. Something's stopping it. It's supposed to push on this carrier here, right, and push that out. Nothing. I mean, mostly because it's not resting properly on what it's supposed to be resting on. There is a bit of play on that, right, so the whole carriage moves a little bit. Quite understand what's stopping it move there until we get to there, but even then, let's see if we turn it upside down how much force I can put on that. Not much. No, I ain't moving anytime soon. Oh, well, that answered that question. I just shoved that carriage right off there. I don't think it's supposed to do that. What happened? Probably a bit. There's a bit that fell on the ground. Isn't it interesting that that spring's on the back end? Remember we put it around the wrong way the last time? On this one. On this one. We thought, anyway. But this came right out the engine, so maybe the spring is supposed to be behind this carriage. Anyway, it's the circlip that came off there, right? So we need to find that circlip. That goes on right like that. But remember the hassle we had taking that off on another one? Right, we're going to leave that there right now. We need that circlip that bounced off. Was it there in the first place? Should we rerun the video? I'm going to switch off to have us root around on the floor here. Found it was on the floor. Let's just put this back the way it was before we were so rudely interrupted, darlings. And remember that spring was behind the carriage. I've got a feeling I put that other one together incorrectly, although I couldn't actually get it to work the other way. I'll clean that off. Remember this whole ordeal before? I remember it well, my friends. Let's jeepers. Okay, good. Jeepers. And so this operates obviously a different way. There should be a little sliding in bit there, tooth spline thing. What allows that to slide in or not? Let's find it. There's the blank. Roughly 12 o'clock. That's not right, is it? That goes in first. Anyway, just make sure that fits back in there. This fits in front of that, right, and the doodly what's its engages or disengages on that. Right, that, remember, and then this goes in. There's that tooth. Right, like that. That's the way that gearbox works with that clutch. So what's different? The difference is probably put this in back to front on this one. So why wouldn't that work with that clutch? The gearbox looks identical, right? If that's the case, all we'd need to do is shift this shaft, shift the shaft. Right, we're just going to put that off to one side at the moment, and we're going to have a look at what would be involved with taking this shaft. Take this pedal off, right, and then slide. I mean, this shaft is sliding. What's to stop it sliding more over that direction than the other direction? These things wouldn't be positioned correctly, right? So we'd have to take those off. Take this whole gubbins apart. We have to look at that video again, right, and remind us that that spring is behind here. I'm pretty sure that spring started off behind there. Remember, we put it back together that way, and then I came to the conclusion that was wrong. We have another point of comparison now when I take that other gearbox off, right? If the spring is behind the carriage, then we know we've put the one that I cleaned up together incorrectly. I did look at diagrams of that and it was not at all clear. Right, anyway, the question is, right, we take this off, right? And what we want to do is have enough sticking out. Can you see this other gearbox as well? I'll bring it over. Now see the shaft sticking out here? That's the amount of shaft we need sticking out that side. There's nothing sticking out this side. Very little. Very little. So that's one thing. Could we just switch the shaft over? everything else looks very similar, right? I wouldn't see a big deal with doing that. If we were shifting this one over, we take these guys out. Can we take these guys out? That's the problem, isn't it? What's that? Holding that on there? Is it just a pin you drive out? I doubt it, right? We need to take that off of there somehow. The pin goes all the way through. This pin here goes all the way through. That pin there goes all the way through. Yeah, I can feel it. And it would hit the casing. I tried to drive it out. I'm assuming there's a hole in there that holds these in place, right? That pin's driven right through there. I mean, could you cheat? Could I cheat? And weld on a piece of rod there? And mount the clutch pedal on that? What difference would it make to the operation of the clutch? Right? Imagine that for a minute. This is sticking out here. So I'll weld a piece on there. Here. Right? See it? So what's to stop me welding a piece of rod on there and then mounting that clutch pedal right on there? Instead of taking the shaft out, you know what I mean? Now I'm going to clean this one out anyway. I'll definitely clean it, give it a good clean up. I mean, even if I took all the gubbinses out of here and just left this here, you still need some way of getting those pins out of there, and I don't know how you could do that. You think they're just a press fit? Wouldn't that be interesting? To just see if we could push them out a little bit. You know, if we could drive them out, I mean, they're not that loose that I could just push them out. I can tell you that. That would be an interesting experiment. Let's try just driving it a little bit. We experiment to see if that pin will move. No, that pin will not move. What about the other one? No. Wow. First intuition is completely incorrect. I mean, it doesn't actually look as if it's a pin that's driven through there. I'm just thinking. So we'll definitely clean this up and have a good look at it. On the face of it, it looks exactly the same, right? Same gearbox. So why couldn't we just get a bit of, what is that, 1/2 inch round and weld it right on there? I mean, we'd need to drive it through a little bit. Take that clutch pedal off. Could we drive it through enough just taking the clutch pedal off? that's another possibility, right? Who's to say whoever's writing in saying that that's impossible to do knows any more about it than I do. Let's move the cream cheese gearbox to give myself some wiggle room. I'm moving these about as if they weigh nothing. It's not actually true. They don't weigh nothing. I'm going to move you guys again. And we're just going to, for a minute, take this clutch pedal off here. Just see if that shaft will move. What's to stop us doing that? Nothing. Nothing will stop us doing that. Okay, we need to remember that's there. See this? So, it did move quite a considerable bit. See, it's sticking out. We could definitely have a weld on that if we needed to. Just give it a little tappy. That baby. Now obviously it ain't gonna hit the carrier the way it's supposed to hit it, right? Because I moved it too far over to the other side. Is there a pin or something stopping it? What's stopping it moving any further? Oh, this. Oh yeah, this. So, only go so far, and then these guys are going to hit this. Is that right? It hit something. Well done, about a 1/2 inch rod there. If it's sticking out, push it back in again. Depends on how good a weld I got on it, right? That's absolutely doable. Very interesting. Okay, so that's doable. And of course, this is going to be wrong, right? So the pedal's going to be wrong, but it's hitting wrong way. We're changing it. That would be good, but that would be good. Just put the pedal round the other way, right? Might actually be over too far and foul the other pedals, because that's got quite a bend in it, right? But we can compare that. I mean, I've got the clutch pedal comes off mine. So I think this is doable. Just weld an extension onto that shaft there. Make sure it still works right, and I get a good weld on it. So, going to be very messy again, cleaning all this up like I did the last one. But definitely doable, right? So, we're going to put that over here with the other gearbox, with the appropriate clutch beside it, so we know what goes where. And the clutch pedal, of course. And the gearbox shifter. Well, maybe we don't need the gearbox shifter right now, but This is gearbox on the engine that we just took out of my car, right? Take this off, see what the setup is, and see if we can learn some. This is an operational gearbox, somewhat, right? I mean, it works, we know it works. Don't spend too much time. I'm gonna use my doodly whatsits, get these off quickly. Oh, so that stud came out on that one. That's okay. Stud came out of that one. Thank you. Always good to have stuff that falls off. That one. I remember we're still missing one down there. Oh, God. Stuff come out on that one as well. Right now. I mean, I lost it. Got it. Come on, gearbox. Am I still missing one? I don't think so. I've got all the nuts and bolts right. Nuts and studs. Studs and nuts, nuts and studs. Take this little cover off there, I need to. Don't think so. Feels as if there's still a bolt in there. There's a washer on there. Let's just take that off. Is it the same size? I hope. I don't know if that would represent a problem or not. I feel as if I did miss one, look, see. Oh man. Washers. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Collect all the washers. And see the springs on the front of this one. Need to take this pressure plate off as well. Let's get this gearbox up on the bench. I'll have a look. If you don't mind, darlings. that was really interesting. The spring, the orientation on that gearbox that we know is working, you know, is the spring at the front of that thrust wheel. And the way that we figured out had to go. Meanwhile, let's take this pressure plate off, and I want you to pay particular attention because I probably will forget exactly how this comes off. Right, so the thing is in behind the pressure plate, right? This, I don't know what you call that. This is the pressure plate. So the thing behind the pressure plate, the one with the spindle on it, right? Oh yeah, remember it said we're supposed to take this off a particular way? So we'll do it opposite, right? The way you tighten up a cylinder head, you do it opposite corners, right? So we try and release it as we go. Said the big springs on the pressure plate could break the little springs. Oh, that's true or not. Soon find out, huh? Didn't break anything last time. See the pressure come off. I have no idea if that's an acceptable way of doing that or not, folks. That's the way I just did it. Oh, see, this is your old-fashioned one with the Ferrado on the flywheel. Smokers. I don't think they're all supposed to be there. What clutch material on this, right? See the dust? Not a good thing to inhale that. Plenty of life left on the clutch, it looks like. I'll get you over in a minute. Okay, now, so this is the damaged gearbox, right? Now, this is interesting. Look where the damage is. It's completely unimportant, I believe, right? Because it's on this part of the gearbox. This is the part of the gearbox. The main body of the gearbox is where the oil is. There is no oil held in here. And look at how easy that clutch action is. See that? That's the way it should work. And I was right, the spring is on the outside. That other one is put together incorrectly with the spring in the back end here is wrong. This gearbox we know works, albeit not very well. So it wasn't, so let's just look, unless there's a split in the gearbox somewhere. It wasn't losing oil out of the gearbox. Why did I think it was? Really good question. Let's take this off of here and see if there's oil in it. If there's oil in it, it kind of disproves the entire supposition that it was the gearbox that was losing oil. There's going to be oil in this gearbox, and then I'm going to be spitting. I'm going to be spitting mad, baby. Spitting. You see that? It's full of oil. The gearbox was not leaking oil. Okay, so we don't like this gearbox though, right? Although it should fit if we change the flywheel. If we were going to do that, why wouldn't we use the gearbox that we just spent all the time cleaning up, that we feel is a fairly good gearbox, and fit that with the different flywheel? So the Borg and Beck, or we fit the Borg and Beck in here. So let's look at that for a second. So this is the Borg and Beck from the export model car. What's the difference? The first difference is that that clutch plate with the spindle, the Borg and Beck, is much smaller than this spinning plate, right? That spinning plate, the spinning plate fits on here, right? That spins, and this section moves in and out. So that's the first difference. Those are different. Now let's look at this. Let's just put this over here just now, try not to mix things up. This is the one off of, this is the Borg and Beck, right, the export. That's the one of my engine. Quite different. What about overall dimensions? You see this? The overall dimensions look identical, are they? Well, look, I'll line these little toothy things up. They don't line up exactly. This is the one at my engine, just keep remembering that. So let's find out where the remember, it's full of oil, it's going to piss oil everywhere if I'm not careful. Where's the little tooth that fits in here? Everything moves so freely here, man, it's beautiful. There it is, let's put it in the 12 position, roughly. Put this in the 12 position, is it going to fit in there? Yes. So let's switch this around then. This is going to screw into the... Let's screw into the flywheel, it's going to be that way. they don't look as if they're exactly the same. These easily fit in the diameter of that. I need to measure it. This one doesn't look as if it fits in terribly well. But would it still work? You carefully position that on. Gearbox is a gearbox is gearbox, right? Come on, you were there a minute ago, dude. There it is right there. We know it fits because we just tried it and it fitted. Let's put the Borg and Beck back with the export model. Now the export model, this goes with that one. And this is what I thought was a good gearbox. I mean, it's not a great gearbox, but it's not as damaged as I thought it was. Not by any stretch. Right? So, we have, again, potentially 3 gearboxes. Now, on the engine that came out of my car, I'm going to mark that right now as the Opel engine. This is the Opel gearbox. I'm just going to call it that, right? Opel. 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 I'm just going to put that on my engine as well. And then we're going to take the flywheel off the export model. And we're going to switch it with that flywheel. The Borg and Beck goes with that flywheel. So we just need to get the Borg and Beck to work on the regular gearbox. The regular gearbox being the cream cheese gearbox. So it's kind of irrelevant, although this is the same as the my Opel gearbox is the same as the cream cheese gearbox, right? So it's a question of whether the Borg and Beck is going to work with that or not. I think all the gearboxes are the same, dudes, apart from the export model. So if I take that clutch pedal off, put it on the cream cheese gearbox, and fit the Borg and Beck clutch, just to say it ain't going to work. Right? Catch my drift? I think we'll do that as an experiment, see how it works.